Dr. Sripada J.R., founder and CEO of Global Placo Solutions Private Limited. I carry around 13 plus years of working experience in drug safety and pharmacovigilance and currently a consultant and advisor for US and European based clients. During the time of consulting, I noticed that the majority of the clients were looking for skills in DSUR, PSUR, PBRER, signal detection and management, as well as RMP. These skills are in great demand and only a handful of professionals are available in the market who are properly trained and qualified. Also, I have been receiving a lot of queries on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter from numerous candidates across various countries asking for guidance on how to get into aggregate reporting jobs and what would be the starting point. This is when I realized the need which motivated me to start with the training programs and to help them with a thorough understanding of the basics of the aggregate reports. I have made a lot of efforts to put in the training content together. We at Global Placo Solutions have been providing individual and corporate training programs for organizations and helping them to prepare for their upcoming projects. We have trained more than 8 organizations and 80 plus candidates already. Most of the candidates were from India, the US, UK and other countries. If you are a PV professional looking to improve your career and want to get into aggregate reporting jobs, then this program is definitely for you. I would like to invite you to join my training programs which are formulated and specifically designed with practical and real-time based scenarios where you will be learning about the background, scope, purpose, objectives and also all the sections in detail. Now let's look at the training courses and the contents for the report and PBRER.
Periodic Benefit Risk Evaluation Report, that is PBRER. Our guidance documents are GVP module, E2CR2, FDA guidance document, Periodic Benefit Risk Evaluation. Let's see the introduction. The Periodic Benefit Risk Evaluation Report described in this guideline is intended to be a common standard for periodic benefit risk evaluation reporting on marketed products, including approved drugs that are under further study among the ICH regions. The regulators from EU, Japan and the US believe that the PBRER may be used to meet prevailing national and regional requirements for periodic safety or benefit risk reports for approved medicinal products. This guideline defines the recommended content and format of a PBRER and provides an outline of points to be considered in its preparation and submission. Let's understand the background. When a new medicinal product is approved for marketing, demonstration of safety and efficacy are generally based on data from a limited number of patients, many studied under the controlled conditions of randomized trials. Often, high-risk subgroups and patients with concomitant illness that require use of other drugs are excluded from clinical trials, and long-term treatment data are very limited. Moreover, patients in the trials are closely monitored for evidence of adverse events only. In clinical practice, monitoring is less intensive, a broad range of patients are treated, and events too rare to occur in clinical trials may be observed. For example, severe liver injury. These factors underlie the need for continuing analysis of relevant safety, efficacy, and effectiveness information throughout the life cycle of a medicinal product promptly, as important findings occur and periodically to allow an overall assessment of the accumulating data. Although the majority of new information will be safety related, new information about effectiveness, limitations of use, alternative treatments, and many other aspects of the drug's place in therapy may be pertinent to its benefit risk assessment. The ICH guideline E2C Clinical Safety Data Management PSUR for marketed drugs achieved step 4 in 1996 and was intended to harmonize the periodic reporting requirements to regulatory authorities and to provide in a common format the worldwide safety experience of a medicinal product at defined times post-approval. At the time, the focus of the PSUR was on relevant new safety information in the context of patient exposure to determine if changes were needed to the product information in order to optimize the use of the product. The guideline was revised in 2003 to provide needed clarification as well as to provide additional guidance and flexibility. The pharmacovigilance environment has evolved, however, prompting reassessment of the role of the PSUR in the spectrum of safety documents submitted to regulatory authorities. This reassessment highlighted several factors that led to consensus for revision and refocus of the guideline to enhance its usefulness in light of advances in the field. Significant progress in the technology and science of pharmacovigilance, including electronic submissions of ICSRs to regulatory authorities, automated data mining techniques, and more attention to benefit risk evaluation. Greater emphasis on proactive and documented risk management planning, increasing recognition that meaningful evaluation of important new risk information should be undertaken in the context of a medicinal product's benefits, and overlap in the content of ICH guidelines related to pharmacovigilance documentation, particularly between ICH guideline E2C, the safety specification component of ICH guideline E2E, and ICH guideline E2F, that is the DSUR. This slide is very important. A formal evaluation of benefit is a new feature of the PBRER. However, it is recognized that a concise discussion on benefit will usually be sufficient unless the safety or benefit risk profile has changed significantly during the reporting interval. Thus, the level of detail provided in certain sections of the PBRER should be proportional to the medicinal product's known or emerging important risks and to evidence of emerging important benefits. The frequency of submission of reports to regulatory authorities is subject to national or regional regulatory requirements and may differ depending on a number of factors. This guideline includes specific advice on managing different frequencies of PBRER submission in different regions. The PBRER has been developed in such a way that the content of particular sections of the report could be identical to that of corresponding sections of other regulatory documents, specifically the safety specification described in the ICH guideline E2E and the DSUR described in the guidelines E2F. The contents of these sections of PBRER is envisioned to be suitable for use in the other reports. This modular approach would allow sections or modules to be submitted at different times to multiple authorities across separate documents, that is the DSUR, the PBRER, and any safety specification. Now, what are the objectives? The main objective of a PBRER is to present a comprehensive and critical analysis of new or emerging information on the risks of the medicinal product and where pertinent on its benefit in approved indications to enable an appraisal of the product's overall benefit risk profile. The PBRER should be submitted to regulatory authorities and will contain an evaluation of new information relevant to the medicinal product that becomes available to the MAH during the reporting interval in the context of cumulative information by examining whether the information obtained by the MAH during the reporting interval is in accord with previous knowledge of the medicinal product's benefit risk profile, summarizing relevant new safety information that could have an impact on the benefit risk profile of the medicinal product, summarizing any important new efficacy or effectiveness information that has become available during the reporting interval, and finally, where important new safety information has emerged, conducting an integrated benefit risk evaluation for approved indications. The MAH, when desired, the MAH should list all the sources of information used to prepare the PBRER, can be provided as an appendix to the report. A PBRER should be concise and provide sufficient information to assure regulatory authorities that the MAH is adequately monitoring and evaluating the evolving risk profile of a medicinal product. All pertinent new safety information discovered during the reporting interval should be discussed in the appropriate sections of the PBRER. Urgent safety information should be reported through the appropriate mechanism. The report is not intended to be used to provide initial notification of significant new safety information or to provide the means by which new safety concerns are detected. Now let's look at the scope of the PBRER. The main focus of each PBRER is the evaluation of relevant new safety information from the available data sources, placed within the context of any pertinent efficacy or effectiveness information that may have become available since the IBD, that is, the date of first marketing approval in any country in the world, or the DIBD, that is, the date of first authorization for the conduct of an interventional clinical trial in any country. These questions, this DIBD and IBD are usually asked in the interviews. That is the reason why I have highlighted. The PBRER should include cumulative knowledge of the product while retaining focus on the new information. That is, the overall safety evaluation and integrated benefit risk evaluation will take into account cumulative information. The PBRER should provide summaries of significant safety, efficacy or effectiveness information from data sources available to the MAH when relevant to the benefit risk evaluation. Now let's see what is the relation of the PBRER to other ICH documents. As I have already mentioned in the earlier slides, we will just look at it. At present, some ICH countries and regions accept submission of separate types of periodic reports to fulfill national and regional requirements within the post-approval period. The PSUR, that is E2C R1, for periodic reporting of the safety of approved medicinal product. The DSUR, that is the ICH guideline E2F, for periodic reporting on the safety of medicinal products that remain in clinical development, and the safety specification component of the ICH guideline E2E that might be submitted at the time of marketing application or PSUR submission to aid in the planning of pharmacovigilance activities. So we have relation to the PSUR, DSUR and any other E2E guidelines, ICH E2E guidelines. As these documents have different regulatory purposes, different periodicities, and can be reviewed by different divisions within a single regulatory authority, each document needs to be complete in its own right, a comprehensive document that can stand alone. Nevertheless, overlap and repetition between the contents of the DSUR, PSUR, and safety specification can lead to inefficiencies, both in the production of the documents by the MAH and in the review of the documents by regulatory authorities. So now, single PBRER for an active substance. The PBRER should provide information on all approved indications, dosage forms and regimens for the active substance with a single data log point. We will see what is data log point in the upcoming slide. In exceptional cases, submission of separate PBRERs might be appropriate. For example, an active substance used in two formulations for systemic and topical administration in entirely different indications. In these cases, the regulatory authorities should be notified and their agreement obtained, preferably at the time of approval. Now, PBRERs for fixed dose combination product. For combination of substances also marketed individually, Information for the fixed combination may be reported either in a separate PBRER or included as separate presentations in the report for one of the individual substances depending on the circumstances. Cross-referring all relevant PBRERs is considered very important. Products manufactured or marketed by more than one company. Each MAH is responsible for submitting PBRERs for its own products. When companies are involved in contractual relationships, for example licensor or licensee, respective responsibilities for preparation and submission of the PBRER to the regulatory authorities should be clearly specified in the written agreement. When data received from a partner companies might contribute meaningfully to the safety or benefit risk analysis and influence the reporting company's product information, these data should be included and discussed in the PBRER. Reference information. Having one reference source of information in common for the 3 ICH regions would facilitate a practical, efficient and consistent approach to the safety evaluation and make the PBRER a unique report accepted in all countries and regions. It is a common practice for MAH to prepare their own company core data sheet, that is CCDS, which covers materials relating to safety indications, dosing, pharmacology and other information concerning the medicinal product. The core safety information contained within the CCDS is referred to the Company Core Safety Information, that is abbreviated as CCSI. The latest CCDS in effect at the end of the reporting interval should be used as the reference for both the benefit and risk sections of the PBRER. The national or regional approved product information, which can differ from the CCDS, continues to be the reference document upon which labeledness or expectedness is based for the purpose of national or regional expedited post-marketing safety reporting. The MAH should continuously evaluate whether any revision of CCDS or CCSI is needed whenever new safety information is obtained throughout the reporting interval. All changes to the CCDS or CCSI made during the reporting period should be described in section 4 as an appendix to the report. Let's see what is the level of detail in the PBRER. The level of detail provided in certain sections of the PBRER should depend on the medicinal products known or emerging important benefits and risks. The approach is applicable to those sections of the PBRER in which there is evaluation of safety data, efficacy or effectiveness data, safety signals and benefit risk. Therefore, the extent of information provided in such PBRER sections will vary among individual PBRERs. For example, when there is important new safety information, a detailed presentation of that information should be included, plus any other relevant contextual information, for example, updated full benefit information needed to facilitate a robust benefit risk analysis. Conversely, when little new important safety information has become available during the reporting interval, a concise summary of baseline benefit information should be sufficient, and the benefit risk evaluation would consist primarily of an evaluation of updated interval safety data, with the recognition that the benefit risk profile has not changed during the reporting interval. Now let's look at the benefit risk evaluation. When a drug is approved for marketing, a conclusion has been reached that when used in accordance with approved product information, its benefits outweigh its risks. As new information about the drug emerges during marketing experience, benefit risk evaluation should be carried out to determine whether benefits continue to outweigh risks and to consider whether steps need to be taken to improve the benefit risk relationship through risk minimization activities. For example, any changes in the label, communications with prescribers or other steps. This assessment may include evaluation of populations or endpoints that were not investigated in the registrational clinical trials. Coming to periodicity and PBRER data log point. International birth date and data log point. The date of the first marketing approval for the medicinal product in any country in the world is the IBD. For medicinal products that are on the market in many countries, it is possible that there are several national or regional birth dates. Such different birth dates should be harmonized with the IBD with agreements of regulatory authorities. Through PBRERs prepared with harmonized IBDs, the same updated safety and benefit risk information can be reviewed globally by all regulatory authorities. The data log point is the date designated as the cutoff for data to be included in a PBRER based on the IBD. For administrative convenience, if desired by the MAH, the data log point of the PBRER can be designated as the last day of the month of the end of the reporting interval with a corresponding change to the start date of the next reporting interval. When a report contains information on different dosage forms, formulations or uses, that is indications or routes or populations, which might be approved at different times, the original IBD should be mentioned to determine the data log point for purposes of the unified PBRER. When clinical development of a medicinal product continues following marketing approval, the starting point of the DSUR reporting interval can be synchronized with the IBD based cycle so that both the DSUR and the PBRER can be prepared at the same time. PBRERs with DLP, that is data log point, based on the IBD. For signal evaluation, MAH should review the relevant sections from individual PBRERs covering the reporting interval and incorporate the most recent information for each signal newly identified or ongoing or closed during that reporting interval. For newly identified information on risk and efficacy or effectiveness, the MAH should review the relevant sections from individual PBRERs covering the reporting interval and incorporate into the PBRER any new information that contributes to the overall benefit risk evaluation that had not already been included in the CCDS at the beginning of the reporting interval. The cumulative benefit, risk and integrated benefit risk evaluation sections of the most recently prepared PBRER should be reviewed and updated if necessary. Now let's go through what is an ad hoc or for cause PBRERs. Ad hoc or for cause PBRERs are reports outside the specific reporting requirements that are required by some regulatory authorities, generally when there are new risks, when risks have changed, when efficacy or effectiveness have changed, or when there are changes to the benefit risk profile of a medicinal product. Ad hoc PBRERs are not typically used to address urgent concerns. For all ad hoc PBRERs, it will be necessary for the regulatory authority to specify the duration of interval data. It is likely that the appropriate data and evaluation sections will need to be updated and focus on particular concerns raised in the ad hoc request. The overall benefit risk evaluation and conclusion sections from the most recently submitted PBRER will need to be carefully reviewed and may require revision. Where an ad hoc report is requested and a PBRER has not been prepared for a number of years, it is likely that a completely new report will need to be prepared by the MAH. So now, what is the time interval between data log point and the submission? Very important slide. As a result of the expanded scope of the PBRER, the time interval between the data log point and submission of the PBRER should be as follows. For those PBRERs covering intervals of 6 to 12 months, we need to do the reporting within 70 calendar days. For those PBRERs covering intervals in excess of 12 months, the timeline is within 90 calendar days. Ad hoc PBRERs should be completed within 90 calendar days unless otherwise specified in the ad hoc request. Let's see now the format and presentations of PBRER. Coming to the format, the recommended format and content of the PBRER, including table of contents, section numbering, and content of each section is outlined below. The full ICH guideline format should be used for all PBRERs. When no relevant information is available or a PBRER section is not applicable, this should be stated in the report. In some countries and regions, the PBRER requirement may be linked to other regulatory documents for pre-approval periodic reporting, that is DSUR, post-marketing pharmacovigilance planning or risk management. The regulatory authorities and MAH can take advantage of the modular approach of the PBRER. I had discussed this in the previous slide, that is the modular approach, where sections that can be separated and submitted independently or combined with any other documents to facilitate such regulatory needs, maximize the utility of the content and reduce duplication of work. Now let's go through the format and contents. The format is almost similar to the PSUR. If you have not watched my previous video, please watch it. The table of contents are exactly the same as PSUR with some minor differences. So we have the title page and executive summary in the beginning. So the title page of the PBRER should include the date of the report, medicinal products, information on IBD, reporting interval, MAH name, address, and the statement of the confidentiality information. And under the executive summary, this section should provide a concise summary of the most important information contained in the report. So we have introduction, then worldwide marketing approval status, action taken in the reporting period for safety reasons, changes to reference safety information, estimated exposure and use patterns, data and summary tabulations, summaries of significant findings from clinical trials during the reporting interval, findings from non-interventional studies, information from other clinical trials and sources, and the 10th section would be non-clinical data. In the 11th we have literature, then other periodic reports, lack of efficacy in controlled clinical trials, late breaking information, overview of signals, that is on new, ongoing or which are closed, signal and risk evaluation, and now the most important sections in the PBRER, that is 17 and 18, the benefit evaluation section and integrated benefit risk analysis for approved indications. 19th is the conclusion, the overall conclusion of the report and if any actions are taken. 20th is the appendix. Whatever the reference documents, what are the other tabulations, everything should be included in the appendix of the report. So now you have learned about the background, objectives, scope and format of the PBRER report. If you are looking to learn each and every section in detail, and if you are looking for enhancement of the knowledge, you can enroll for a full training session conducted online on weekends only, which will be of the duration of 4 to 4.5 hours. You can register by logging on to our website, that is www.globalplacosolutions.com under Contact Us tab. Please select training and you will be receiving more information about our upcoming session by email, and you can join and complete the session upon your convenience. I hope the video was informative and helpful. Please like, subscribe and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Thanks a lot for watching.